Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Hollywood panics as J.K. Rowling wins the culture war. J.K. Rowling took a strong public stance on a very political issue. And it is political. It's not something everyone has to accept. So she had her own opinion. And now she's won the game. From Newsweek, J.K. Rowling might have just won the culture war. From Salon, Harry Potter series to benefit from J.K. Rowling, according to HBO. They defend her right to free expression. Quote, J.K. Rowling has a right to express her personal views, according to a spokesperson for HBO, in a statement. Of course she has a right to personal views. It's not a hate crime to not agree with other people. And the real issue here is that Warner Brothers is a business. Warner Brothers Discovery, the company, was created in a merger in 2022 with another company called Discovery. As part of that merger, they got a lot of intellectual property, a lot of brands, a lot of franchises, all of the DC characters, and they got access to Harry Potter. So all they wanted to do was to try to get the business to grow. When Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, they had around $49 billion in debt combined. That's total debt, less cash, it's around $49 billion. Since then, they've managed to pay off about $10 billion worth of that debt, even actually more than $10 billion of that debt. That's actually pretty good. And the way the company is going to be able to continue to pay off their debt is going to be leveraging their franchises and creating new franchises. Of course, if you controlled Harry Potter, you'd want a good relationship with the creator of Harry Potter. A few years from now, there could be another new trend. But one thing that's always been an important trend in Hollywood is to have a reputation that you respect creative input. You can't take the creator of Harry Potter and say, well, you're not part of the trans issue. You're not supporting the trans issue. So as a result, we're going to disconnect you from the franchise you created. To take the risk of actually doing that, Warner Brothers would be sending the message to everyone that they're more focused on political ideology. They're more focused on whatever the current trend is than respecting creators' rights and creators' involvement in their own properties. Additionally, she's pretty wealthy. She's not going anywhere. What if she decided to turn her social media presence and her importance as a creator against Warner Brothers for excluding her from their new TV project on Harry Potter? Why would Warner Brothers take a risk like that? It would have been interesting to see if the timing was different and she had that relationship with Disney. What would Disney have done? We don't know. But we do know that Warner Brothers is not completely crazy. Of course they're supporting J.K. Rowling. Comcast, that owns NBC Universal, also wanted to be part of this new TV deal. From The Hollywood Reporter, Comcast sues Warner Brothers Discovery over refusal to partner on Harry Potter series. Under the deal, Warner Bros. Discovery was allegedly obligated to present Sky with opportunities to co-produce at least 4 shows per year from 2021 to 2023. Warner's called the lawsuit a baseless attempt to gain leverage in upcoming negotiations. This is a big business. Harry Potter is a massive business. And a few years from now, who knows what the next political ideology is going to be about gender, or sexual preferences, or race. We're probably going a lot closer back to normal where you be what you want to be, decide what you want to decide about your life, but don't expect others to change their entire worldview to associate with your new worldview. That's where it looks like we're headed back because J.K. Rowling completely won this argument. From Newsweek, J.K. Rowling might have just won the culture war. It's an unlikely return reminiscent of Harry Potter, the boy who lived himself, or the Dark Lord Voldemort, depending on your opinion. J.K. Rowling, author of the globally adored fantasy series who in recent years became a pariah in some quarters over her view on transgender people, appears to have just won the culture war she's been fighting for the past 5 years. Since 2019, Rowling has sparked impassioned debate and backlash over her statements on trans women and insistence on using male pronouns to describe them. The British-born writer has publicly supported women who question the legitimacy of trans women's gender identities and has dedicated much of her feed on Twitter to speaking out on the issue. Celebrities condemned her statements. Social media users labeled her views disgusting, and activists branded her a TERF, a trans exclusionary. Hold on a second. A trans exclusionary radical feminist. A radical feminist. For supporting biological women? Yes. Conversely, she's also received an outpouring of support for her stance, with hashtag I stand with J.K. Rowling trending intermittently on social media whenever the debate resurfaces. Because this is a current debate. It's still a debate, although the debate seems to be turning to the side of you be what you want to be, but don't expect everyone else to accept that and change their own personal identity to accord with your new identity. That seems the direction this is going in. But J.K. Rowling was one of very few celebrities to stand up on the issue and say, you know what? No, this is not acceptable for me, and here's why. Not a lot of people were willing to risk the blowback on this, and she was, and she won. Now, long after Rowling had accepted she might have irreparably tarnished her legacy, she finds herself firmly back in the fold. Warner Brothers, the entertainment giant bringing her Harry Potter franchise back to screens as an HBO TV show, stated in November that not only will it be working with her on the project, it sees no reason to wade into the furor over her trans-related utterances. It's not the business of Warner Brothers to get involved in her personal opinion on whether or not trans women or biological women are different or the same. It has nothing to do with them working on a creative series with her. HBO chairman and CEO Casey Bloy said at a November 12 press conference that Rowling was very, very involved in the process selecting the writer and the director, and added that Rowling's trans statements, quote, haven't affected the casting or hiring of our writers or production staff for the show. A spokesperson for the network followed up with a statement calling Rowling's contributions invaluable and saying about her trans crusade, quote, J.K. Rowling has a right to express her personal views. We will remain focused on the development of the new series, which will only benefit from her involvement. Because she did create the characters, the world, the situations, all the drama related to these intellectual properties. It's not actually an easy thing to do. I have created some characters in my time and some stories related to them. I'm working on some new material. This is not easy stuff. When you create something that people find interesting, compelling, iconic, they want to associate with it, you don't get that every day, and you don't take a creator who has created these characters and these stories and the world and separate them from their own creations. It's bad not just for your relationship with this creation and this property, this franchise, but all other creators and all other franchises. While there are creative people that might not like J.K. Rowling because they don't agree with her political stance on trans issues, they don't want their own creative projects trampled on and changed and not subject to involvement from the original creator, no matter how successful that project is. Creators really don't like that. If they create something, they want to stay involved with something. That's why they trust certain studios. Sony used to have a great reputation for letting creators do essentially whatever they wanted to do. There is zero chance that Warner Brothers is going to get a reputation that they don't respect creators just to follow some political agenda. It's a remarkably loud ringing endorsement from a company that has long kept quiet on Rowling over fears of a backlash from fans. The cultural debate over transgender rights is entering a new phase. The debate surrounding Rowling's views on transgender issues began in December 2019 and intensified in June 2020, following a series of statements and actions that sparked widespread controversy. In 2019, Rowling publicly supported Maya Forstarter, a researcher who lost her job after making gender-critical statements. In a tweet, Rowling wrote, quote, dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real? In 2020, Rowling published a 3,600-word essay on her website defending her views. She expressed concerns about transgender activism, the safety of single-sex spaces, and the rights of women and girls. These views were met with widespread criticism from LGBT advocacy groups, fans, and individuals who accused her of transphobia. Online fan communities distanced themselves from her, with some removing her name from fan content or organizing boycotts of Harry Potter-related products. Rowling herself leaned into her controversial status by engaging with her critics on Twitter, framing herself as someone standing against cancel culture and advocating for women's rights. Quote, "The thing is, those appalled by my position often fail to grasp how truly despicable I find theirs," as she wrote in an essay earlier this year. Rowling's own Harry Potter stars, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, whose careers were launched through the franchise, went on the record to publicly condemn her comments. Yeah, I remember seeing that and saying, what are you guys doing here? Why do you have to pick a side of this or a side of that? She did help make your careers, so at least you could stay to the side and just don't comment. It's actually very good business. If they really personally, passionately feel this way, that's fine. But if they're doing it just for political reasons, that's not so fine. Eddie Redmayne, the star of Rowling's Fantastic Beasts spin-off series, also joined the detractors. Quote, "Transgender women are women. Any statement to the contrary erases the identity and dignity of transgender people," according to Radcliffe, who wrote this in an essay for the Trevor Project. In 2022, Rowling was notably absent from the Harry Potter 20th anniversary special made with the stars of the franchise, leading to unconfirmed whispers that her stance on transgender issues had made her too much of a toxic entity. Rowling herself said that she declined an invitation to be included in the special. Anything that HBO does with Harry Potter is going to always extend themselves to J.K. Rowling. It makes no business sense, no commercial sense, no sense in the message that it sends to creators to exclude her from anything to do with anything that she creates. Warner Brothers is hoping Harry Potter can bring the magic back to the troubled entertainment company. The company has faced significant financial challenges in recent years, reporting a nearly $10 billion loss for the second quarter of this year. But that loss was because of the loss of the NBA games and also write-downs related to their cable businesses. The cable business is falling apart not just for Warner Brothers, but really for everybody. And they're not the only company to publicly announce that, yeah, we've basically got to lose billions of dollars on these cable channels right now. We've got to write down the value because the value isn't what it used to be. Under CEO David Zaslav, the company has reevaluated its content portfolio, concentrating resources on successful franchises to maximize profitability and audience engagement. The planned HBO Harry Potter TV series, a 7-season project with each season dedicated to one of the books, is the cornerstone of the strategy. The show is expected to enter production next year and be released in 2026. For Warner Brothers, siding with Rowling suggests the reward of having the author in the creative process outweighs the risk of a backlash. There will be no significant backlash to any of this. That is going to be long since past by the time we get to 2026. There is no way you would exclude the creator of Harry Potter in a Harry Potter TV series, adapting each of her books, the ones that she wrote with her characters, over a 7-season project. This project is going to make them an absolute fortune. And it won't just be around for the next 7 years. It's going to be around, very likely, for decades. Quote, "By publicly supporting J.K. Rowling, Warner Brothers is investing in a colossally creative and successful author as opposed to taking a public stance on the controversial transgender topic," according to Evan Neerman, CEO of global PR firm Red Banyan. Quote, "For Rowling, Warner Brothers' endorsement reinforces her resilience in the face of online invective and positions her as a creative force too integral to the Harry Potter franchise to ignore. Her refusal to be canceled in the face of sustained attacks illustrates how to avoid being permanently silenced." And from the other side of the political aisle, Warner Brothers' backing of Rowling, quote, "is a business move by a studio plain and simple," according to Dylan Thomas Cotter, a publicist and transgender advocate. Writer and cultural analyst Arjit Sheikh said that while the decision by Warner Brothers signals a potential shift in how corporations handle cancel culture, Rowling herself might not have won the culture war against critics. Quote, this decision indicates a change toward more publicly endorsing contentious personalities when their creative influence is valued. But it does not necessarily mean Rowling has won the culture war, she told Newsweek. Yeah, it does mean that she won the culture war. They came after her big time, and the result of that is her video game for Harry Potter did amazing, made an absolute fortune for the company. And now when it comes to this massive HBO series, people can complain about her and not agree on her politics. It doesn't matter. The company loves her. HBO loves her. Millions of her fans love her. And she's going to make another fortune off of this series. Quote, Warner Brothers seems to be putting the Harry Potter franchise's cultural and financial history ahead of the divisive controversy surrounding her personal beliefs. It's only divisive because she's being attacked for having her own personal beliefs. But she continues. This strategy implies that instead of adopting clear-cut positions, firms may now be navigating cancel culture with a higher emphasis on striking a balance between public opinion and creative contribution. Here's what Elon Musk tweeted today about cancel culture. Cancel culture has been canceled. And he's right. People have just about had it, and those people are not in charge anymore. Not only at Twitter, but in the general culture. There will be people that complain and that want to attack people for having views different from their views, but they don't hold the keys to the kingdom anymore. They're not the decision makers. Scheich warns that Rowling might need to be more careful now that her name has been prominently attached to a major project, considering what's at stake. Harry Potter was a major project when it was books only, and then it was films and video games and toys and merchandise. This is not a big deal for J.K. Rowling. She's not going to change who she is or what she says or what she believes because of a new TV project. But let's see what she has to say. Quote, given the importance of the next Harry Potter television series, Rowling could be better off adopting a more subdued public persona and concentrating her efforts on the project's artistic elements rather than reviving contentious debates. Now, the new fear is she's already so big, she's going to be even bigger after 7 seasons on HBO of the new Harry Potter series. Her voice is going to be even bigger than it was before the TV series. She's not going to be quiet. She's not going to hide somewhere. She's made a lot of money. She has a net worth in excess of $1 billion. She can kind of do whatever it is that she wants to do, or not do whatever it is she doesn't want to do. This is not something she's walking away from just to get the approval of people trying to push an agenda. Quote, she may steer clear of pointless diversions and support Warner Brothers' goal to maintain the series' focus by refocusing attention on her contribution to creating the adored Harry Potter franchise. Warner Brothers' defense of Rowling suggests a shift in the cultural landscape surrounding transgender rights. Is it transgender rights? I mean, everyone should have equal rights. It's fine. But we can't be forced to accept other people's worldview. That's not the rights of a minority. That's the attempted forced brainwashing of a majority. You can't do it that way. If you want to be respected, you can be respected, but you can't expect everyone to adopt your beliefs. That's totalitarian. It's not going to work. Earlier this month, Donald Trump triumphed over Kamala Harris in the presidential election with a campaign that put transgender issues center stage. Quote, Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you. According to one Trump ad that ran over 15,000 times. Trump also vowed at an October rally this year that he would keep, quote, men out of women's sports if elected. People have had it with the agenda. They've had it with progressive issues that interfere with their own personal beliefs. If you have a belief and I have a belief and they're the same, that's great. If they're not the same on every issue, it's not a hate crime. Not everyone has to be in agreement about every issue in a free society. This is not some totalitarian regime. And J.K. Rowling has proven if you're willing to take a little bit of a risk and put yourself out there and tell people what you believe, you can win. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.